Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Shane's Craft Beer Review and Wild Wednesday. As you can see, I'm in my kitchen, so that can only mean one thing. I'm going to attempt to make something delicious and yummy and serve it up for you guys. And no, I have never made this thing before. And I'm actually going to make two different versions of it. Today, I'm going to be making the most Canadian dessert that you can make, the Butter Tart. I'm going to be doing a fresh pastry dough. I'm going to make the pastry dough myself from scratch. And I'm also going to do a different recipe with a pre-made frozen shell that actually has a different filling recipe in it. So I'll be going through both of those. Hope you guys enjoy it. I hope these turn out. I love Butter Tarts and I've never made them before, so let's see what we can do for Wild Wednesday, guys. Okay guys, I really screwed up this pastry dough. So I'm just going to zip through this part. Really sorry. As it turns out, I didn't do the first recipe because I couldn't figure out the pastry dough. If anybody's out there that is a baker and maybe knows what I did wrong or something I can improve next time, please let me know down in the comments. But for now, we're going to kick ahead to the second recipe. Okay guys, so let's move on to our second recipe. Like I said before, for the second recipe, I'll be using just these frozen little pie shells that you can get. Right, already pre-formed, pre-made. I think there's 30 in a pack here. It does say sweetened tart shells there. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but this is what we'll be using. So you guys don't need a recipe for those, because those are pre-made. All right, so for the filling for our second set of Butter Tarts, what we're going to need is 1/2 cup of butter, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 cup of golden corn syrup, 1/4 cup of pure, real, 100% Canadian maple syrup, 2 eggs, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay guys, so let's take all those ingredients except for the eggs, get them in the bowl. I probably should have warmed this butter up a little bit first, just to make it easy. So we got the butter, the brown sugar, the salt, the delectable golden corn syrup, and of course, Canada's liquid gold right there. 100% pure Canadian maple syrup. And a little tablespoon of vanilla. Alright, so we're not going to add the eggs in quite yet. What we're going to do is just do our best to combine this. It does say to use a hand mixer to mix this all up. But it is, let me see what time is it now. It's about 20 after 12 at night. And it's probably not appropriate for me to be doing that. So I'm just going to stir this up the best I can. And we'll cut back to this in just a minute. Okay, now that we got that mostly mixed up, let's drop a couple eggs in here. Hopefully with no shells. Shell this. There we go. And we'll give that a little mix up now too. Okay, so that's looking pretty good there, guys. Now there has always been a really big raging war and debate in Canada on if raisins belong in Butter Tarts. It's more of a personal preference. I'm actually going to do half and half with each of these batches. I'm going to put raisins in a couple of them and no raisins in a couple of them, but I'll do those when I put them in the pie shell. All right, so this is looking pretty good. Let's get those pie shells filled. Okay guys, so we have our frozen shells all set up, ready to go. As you can see, I put raisins in a couple of them. Also, I wanted to try an experiment. So these 6 that are over here, as you can see, are not in the little aluminum foil. And the rest of them, oops, I probably shouldn't pick up that one because that one's got raisins in it. These ones are. So I don't know if that'll make a difference, but I wanted to try it out because I have absolutely no freaking idea how well it's going to go. Oops, and I just kicked my stove. All right, so let's take some of this yummy gooey batter that I'm going to make a big mess of. And we're going to fill these up probably about 3/4 of the way each. And I'm making such a big mess doing this. There's probably a better way to fill these guys, and I don't know what it is, because again, I've never made these before. Those are going to be good. Alright, let's get back when I've got these done. Okay guys, these are looking pretty spectacular just like this. So we're going to stick these in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. Let's check it out. Okay guys, well these are now cooked. They've been on for about 22 minutes or so, and we've honestly answered the question. If you don't put your shell or keep your shells in the tin foil, they just flatten out and go to nothing. So those three are completely flat. All the stuff is inside here. These ones are really nice. Look, I got a nice golden brownness to them. So what I'm gonna do, I still have a little bit of the mix left and some shells. I'm gonna make another batch, and sorry we didn't get to the other one because apparently I cannot make pastry dough. So we're gonna let these cool for a little while, transfer them over to a little wire rack, and we're gonna give them a taste. Cheers. Okay guys, well that was an adventure. It is now, oh my god, 20 after 2 in the morning. That took way too long to film such a short segment, and I screwed everything up. But I do have this nice plate of Butter Tarts over here, and these weird Butter Tart cookie flat things that we screwed up. But I decided to save them because they might be okay. So, what did we learn from today's little adventure? Number 1, Shane can't make pasta dough. Number 2, if you're using the frozen pre-done pastry, yeah, keep them in the aluminum foil. Anyway, let's get into one of these, see how it tastes. Hopefully it's okay. I'll pop this one over right here. For all the effort that I put into it and all the mistakes, I hope it tastes good. Cheers. It's a little soft, as you can see. But you know what? These don't taste bad at all. It's actually pretty good. Very good for my first try. I'm just gonna sit and eat all these. Now comes the real test. These little cookie looking things. I'm assuming these are gonna be okay. They look pretty good. Let's try one of these. Cheers. That's not bad. Not as good as the Butter Tart for sure, but it's not bad. It's edible. I'll probably just eat these too. Anyway guys, thank you guys so much for checking out my Wild Wednesday, and it was a wild one. Like I said, I don't bake this stuff. I'm not a baker. Just wanted to try something different. Maybe I'll stay away from the cooking shows for a little while. Thank you guys very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Okay guys, so the ingredients you're going to need to make your pastry are 1½ cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of cold butter cubed, and 1/4 cup cold water. Okay guys, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to combine our dry ingredients here. Our flour, our sugar, and our salt. We're just going to take that with the whisk, give it a good little mix. Make sure we get that all nice and mixed up in there. Okay, after we get that far, we're going to add in our butter with, of course, our freshly washed hands. And we're just going to basically take this and just start crumbling this all up and getting this all combined. What we're trying to do is basically we're looking for trying to get the butter into like some little kind of pea-sized pieces mixed in with the flour. So it's kind of fun. You get to sit here and play with the butter and get it all done up. Okay, so this part took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. So basically what we're looking for is kind of like a crumbly kind of look like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slowly add a little bit of water, and we're going to start mixing that back up again. What we're looking is just for like a nice dough in here. A little bit more water. And just keep adding water as needed. Hopefully you don't need much more than the 1/4 cup it calls for. Okay guys, and after a while, you're gonna end up with this nice big dough ball. Now I did myself, I had to put in about another 1/8 of a cup of cold water to this to get all the flour all combined in there. All right, so once you got that far, what you're gonna do, I've already got this laid out. You get yourself a piece of plastic wrap, and you're just gonna take this dough ball and just basically just flatten it out. Just with your hands is fine. We're not actually making the pastry at this particular point in time, but we do just wanna flatten this out, get it on the plastic wrap. It doesn't matter what it looks like, as long as it's semi-flat. I got a really weird shape where it looks like a, I don't know, messed up butterfly or something, who knows. All right, so get that semi-flat, and then all you're gonna do is just wrap this up in the plastic wrap, and we're gonna stick that in the fridge for 1 hour. Okay guys, so our dough has been in the fridge for about an hour, so we're gonna unwrap that. What we're going to do, just gonna place this on a piece of waxed paper here. I'm gonna give it just a little teeny dust in the flour. Let's leave some of that over there, just in case we need it for later. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna move the camera around apparently. Just gonna roll this out. Okay, and on second thought, I decided to go without the wax paper because that just didn't seem to be working very well. Much like this does not seem to be working very well. Again, I'm not really much of a baker, so I'm just gonna keep rolling this out here, guys, and hopefully we can get some kind of shape here. All right, so I tried rolling out this crappy dough. I got a couple of these little circles, which are probably too thick, but every time I would roll this, it would just kind of fall apart, so I don't know if I made this wrong. So we're just gonna go with the pre-frozen shells, I guess, for this episode. And that's why they call it Wild Wednesday, because it's wild and you never know what's gonna happen.